Hello students, this is Dinesh Mehbubani. I am HOD in Chemical Engineering Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to study about bisection method. Now bisection method is a topic of chapter number 2 of NMCE subject. NMCE is numerical methods in chemical engineering. Chapter number 2 is solution of algebraic and transcendental equation. Now, what is the meaning of algebraic equation? The equation that consists of polynomials is known as algebraic equation, and transcendental equation means the equation that consists of functions like logarithmic functions, then exponential functions, trigonometric functions. That equations are known as transcendental equation. Now, the bisection method is a method that is used to solve the non-linear equations. It is used to solve the algebraic as well as transcendental equations. Basically, there are two types of methods in that: open methods and bracketing methods. Now, what is the meaning of open and bracketing method? See, in all of these methods, we have to initially assume the roots. These methods are used to find the roots of the algebraic and transcendental equations, right? And to find the roots of the equation, there is one condition. See, basically there are two types of methods: open methods and bracketing methods. Now, what do you mean by open method? Okay, before finding the root of the equation, if we are defining the interval in which interval the root lies, that method is known as bracketing method. And the method in which the interval is not defined, we are not defining the interval, that is known as open method. Okay, this is the introduction of the bisection method. Bisection is iterative method and the simplest method that is used to solve the non-linear equations. This method is also known as the binary chopping, or it is also known as half interval method. The another name of this method is Bolzano method. First of all, as I told you, it is bracketing method. So we have to find one interval a comma b that contains the root. The value of a and b should be chosen such that the f of a, the value of f of a should be less than 0, or f of b should be less than 0. That means we can say the signs of f of a and f of b should be opposite. If f of a is less than 0, then f of b should be greater than 0, and if f of a is greater than 0, then f of b should be less than 0. Okay, then what we are doing, after finding the interval, we are intersecting the interval, we are bisecting the interval in two parts, and half interval contains the root of the equation. So after each and every iteration, the interval is changed. We are changing the interval, and how we are changing the interval, that we will see in the next slide. See, this is the graphical representation of the bisection method. Initially, a curve y is equal to f of x is given. You can see y is equal to f of x is given. F of x will intersect the x-axis at one point, and that point is the exact root of the equation. We have to find the exact root of the equation. Initially, we are not knowing what is the root of the equation, so we have to define one interval a comma b. Here you can see on the screen the value of f of a is less than 0, and the value of function value f of b is greater than 0, and the interval is a comma b. Then what is to be done? Then what we have to do, we have to intersect, we have to bisect the interval ab in two parts, and we are finding the midpoint m. See, as you can see, we have cut the interval a comma b in two parts, and we have found the value of m, that is m is equal to a plus b by 2. Okay, so here we have found the value of m. Now on the basis of m, we have to again define another interval. Now that will depend on the value of f of m. If m is there, we have to find the value of f of m. Here we can say the f of m, the value of f of m is greater than 0. See, the value of f of m is positive. So now the interval will be a comma m. Our new interval will be a comma m. because f of a is less than 0 and f of m is greater than 0. So our root lies between a and m. Okay, we have to find a new interval. See, now you can see in the image the whole interval has been shortened. Before the interval was little bit bigger, we have shortened the interval. Okay, and we have given the name b to the m. Instead of m, now we are using b. So now you can see f of a is less than 0 and f of b is greater than 0. Okay, in this way we have to proceed. We have to change the interval, we have to change the starting and ending point of the interval, and we have to reach the exact root of the given equation. Okay, after this what we have to do, we have to again find the midpoint. Okay, midpoint m is to be found. If f of m is greater than 0, then root lies between a and m, and if f of m is less than 0, then root lies between m and b. So in this way we have to divide the interval, we have to define the new interval, and we have to reach the value of the exact root. Okay, see here it is given, let x1 equals to a, x2 equals to b. First of all we have to find the initial approximation, that is x0, and this can be found with the help of this formula, x0 is equal to a plus b by 2. Now what is a and b? So a and b is x1 and x2. So x0 is equal to x1 plus x2 by 2. Now there may be three conditions. There are three conditions. If f of x0 is equal to 0, then root lies at the value x0. If f of x0 is less than 0, then the value of a will be changed, so the root lies between x0 and b. And if f of x0 is greater than 0, then root lies between a and x0. So in this way we have to reduce the interval, we have to reduce the size of the interval, and in this way, by dividing the interval in two parts, we have to reach to the exact root. Okay, now let us solve one numerical on the basis of this. See, this is the given numerical, a simple function is given. See, this is algebraic equation. How we can say it is algebraic? Because in this equation there is neither a function of sine, cos, tan, or any log or exponential function. So this is one algebraic equation given. See, first of all we have to find the values of a and b, that is the starting interval. How we can find the value of a and b? The condition is the value of a and b, the f of a and f of b should be having different signs. Okay, by placing 0 in the main equation, f of 0 is equal to 1, and if I will place 1 in this equation, then it will be minus 3. So we can say our root lies between the interval 0 to 1. Why 0 to 1? Because both the signs are different. F of 0 is positive and f of 1 is negative. So we can say our root lies between 0 to 1. See, now what we have to do? We have to reduce this interval. Instead of 0 to 1, we have to reduce like 0 to 0.5 or 0.5 to 1. It will depend upon the value of the first approximation. So our first approximation, how we can find the value of first approximation? First of all, we have taken x1 equal to 0. See, remember for x1 equal to 0, the function value is positive, and for x2 equals to 1, the function value is negative. Then we have to find the first approximation, that is x0 is equal to x1 plus x2 by 2, and that will be 0.5. Now what we have to do? We have to find the value of f of 0.5. Now f of 0.5 is equal to minus 1.375. See, it is negative. So what we have to change? We have to change the upper limit, because for 0, okay, it is negative. So now our root lies between the interval 0 to 0.5. Why 0 to 0.5? Because f of x2 is negative, we have to replace x2, that is 1 by 0.5. So our interval will be reduced to 0 to 0.5. The interval was 0 to 1, now it has reduced from 0 to 1 to 0 to 0.5. Okay, now the two values of x1 and x2 will be x1 equals to 0 and x2 equals to 0.5. Again we have to find the midpoint, and again we have to find the value of x0. The x0 is 0.25. Then we have to place the value of x0 in the main function. After placing the value in main function, the value of f of 0.25 is negative, so we have to again change the upper limit. By changing the upper limit, the interval will also change. Now our root lies in the interval 0 to 0.25. See, have you observed one thing? Initially the interval was 0 to 1, then the interval was 0 to 0.5, and now the interval is 0 to 0.25. See, after finding the iterations, you will get the final root like this. Initially the value was 0 to 1, then we found the value of x0. x0 is equal to a plus b by 2, that is x1 plus x2 by 2. If f of x0 is negative, then we have to change x2. If f of x0 is positive, then we have to change x1. So you can see f of x0 in the first case is negative, so we have placed x0 in x2. Similarly, in second case, f of x0 is negative, so again we have to place x0 in x2. In third case, see, for 0.125 it is positive, so we have to place 0.125 in x1, not x2. Why? Because it is greater than 0. Initially the value of f of x1 was greater than 0 and f of x2 was less than 0. So if f of x0 is less than 0, then we have to place x0 in x2, and if f of x0 is greater than 0, then we have to place x0 in x1 for the next approximation. And we have to repeat this until we are getting same values consecutively in the x0. Okay, so this was about the bisection method. From next lecture we will start the next method. Bye bye.